The focus is on BPCHN and CPCH program at a glance. So this BPCHN, whatever it was in the this course under IGNOU, that has been again changed to CPCH in our state. So I'll be highlighting all these things. As you know, if you'll go to the last 2 decades, the scenario has been changed when the NRHM concept introduced in the year 2005. Since then to till date, if you will see, the scenario of health statistics has been changed because all the mortality and morbidity targets has been reduced to half. So that shows there is a drastic decreasing disease burden on those targets which we had earlier by the government. But still we are facing, as the last speaker said, challenges like we are facing now the COVID pandemic situation, and the challenges with the emerging diseases is coming day by day, and the government is preparing in a new concept how to meet all those challenges. So as I said, my topic is service provision at Health Wellness Center. Health and Wellness Center is a new concept in community health nursing, and how it is working at the community level, and what is the concept of BPCHN and CPCH program. As you know, as I said, previously in the health statistics, there was focus on mostly few communicable diseases and on maternal and child health. But as the government saw that there is a drastic change in the disease pattern, the people who are suffering in the non-communicable diseases, their rate becomes high, the percentage become high in the mortality and morbidity. So the non-communicable diseases like cancer, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and respiratory diseases accounts for nearly 62% of all mortality among men and 52% among women, out of which 56% is premature death. So this percentage shows a higher concern, because previously only we are focusing in the maternal and child health uh, uh, previously, and a few communicable diseases. But government expanded this concept to include everything, not only communicable diseases, rather non-communicable diseases, as well as focusing on the different beneficiary group, that is maternal and child health, and also geriatric care, so on. So the government decided the people who were they were not knowing which service is available at their doorstep. Like we had earlier sub centers, but their services were limited, only focusing on MCS services and some national health programs. And those national health programs are focusing on some few communicable diseases. So that's what the government decided, and the people who were there, the turnover was very high on district headquarter hospital, because the people were not aware of the services which are available at the primary healthcare level, PSC, primary health center, and also sub center. So even rest of the services were the people were availing from the private sectors. So to reduce the out of pockets expenditure and to improve the utilization of government health facilities, and also to ensure the continuum of care. Continuum of care also, there was delinking. Once the patients referred from the primary health care center to CSC and going back to community, there is no link. So government decided to launch a holistic program, that is Ayushman Bharat. Ayushman Bharat, the government of India implemented, but it has two components. As earlier in the last yesterday we had listened, the first component was involved with the upgrading of 1.5 lakh sub-health centers and primary health centers to Ayushman Bharat Health Wellness Center for the delivery of comprehensive primary health care. The second component comprises of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which aims to provide financial protection up to 5 lakh per annum for secondary and tertiary care and to about 40% of India's socially vulnerable and low income households. So these two component comprises of Ayushman Bharat, the concept which will enable the country to achieve universal health coverage and eventually health for all. So the concept of this health and wellness center provided the expanded range of services beyond selective package of healthcare pregnant women. Previously, only the focus was on communicable diseases and MCH services, but now the services has been expanded. This, as I said, some of the PSC and sub health centers and sub centers and UPSCs have been converted into health wellness center. This health wellness center will also deliver preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative care for a wide range of services close to communities. So the comprehensive primary health care includes all these aspects: preventive, promotive, and curative, rehabilitative, and palliative care. So this is the continuum of care. As I said, Ayushman Bharat, one concept is holistic concept, establishing a health and wellness center, and another one is Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. And that is the insurance coverage of up to 5 lakhs per individual at the both the secondary and tertiary level. See the diagram, the pyramid, which shows previously we had the RMNCH concept, but most of the area which was left with non-communicable disease and other chronic diseases, and also some unmet needs for the vulnerable and marginalized group. So at the primary level, government decided to establish a health and wellness center to provide this comprehensive primary health care, and this primary Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana will be contributed in both the secondary and tertiary level care. So, what is the vision for 2022 by Government of India? The National Health Policy 2017 recommended strengthening of the delivery of primary health care through establishment of health and wellness center. That is one concept which we discussed just now. And also the National Health Mission, which was the NRHM again revised to NHM, under the country's flagship health system strengthening program, particularly for primary and secondary healthcare, envisages attainment of universal access to equitable, affordable, quality healthcare, which is accountable and responsive to the needs of the people. So Ayushman Bharat means the terminology just focuses on healthy India. This national initiative was launched as recommended by the National Health Policy 2017. So there is a unique vision to have universal health coverage to all the areas, all the remotest areas of the India, leaving no one behind to achieve, get the or access the health service. So what is the paradigm shift in primary healthcare? You just see previously subcenter as the unit of service. Now in the health, it is converted in community health nursing that SWC is the unit of service now, health wellness center. Previously there was general fragmented care. Now it is individualized holistic care. Health wellness center will render individualized holistic care. So each individual person will get focus by the health wellness center. Then previously it was sectoral and segmented approach. Now it is comprehensive need-based approach. Previously, no empanelment of family in SC. Sectoral and segment approach, I would say, because previously only preventive and curative aspect we are looking for. But nowadays it has been in the comprehensive approach included preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative, and also palliative care. So the wide range of service has been expanded. Then there is no empanelment of family in a subcenter earlier, besides the beneficiaries. Now empanelment of families in health and wellness. So the family folder and everything is maintained in the health wellness center. Previously, the concept there was selective service was rendered by sub-centers, but nowadays in health wellness center 24/7 expanded service will be given is provided. Then previously the focus was only on beneficiary group, but here now the focus is on all. That means not only the beneficiary group, the people who are also having healthy people, on them also the focus was there. So vulnerable and marginal person, the focus was for them also, and also for the healthy people. So this is what the health wellness center coding. Everything will be like this, given by the government of India. So to ensure delivery of comprehensive primary health care services, existing sub-centers covering a population of 3,000 to 5,000 would be converted to health and wellness center. So with the principle being time to care, that means the service will be provided within 30 minutes. So primary health centers in rural and urban areas would also be converted to health and wellness center. Such care could also be provided and or complemented through outreach services. So there will be outreach services of immunization camps, mobile and medical units of screening camps of eyes, oral care, etc., and also community-based care. But the principle should be a seamless continuum of care that ensures the principles of equity, universality, and financial hardship. So, the continuum of care starting from the family or community, family or household, or the community to health and wellness center. Health wellness center will refer the case to the primary health center, and primary health center will refer the case to CSC, DHH, SDH, and when the patient comes back to the community also, the follow-up will be given by the health wellness center consulting with the specialists. So that provision has been made in the health and wellness center. So the key principles of health and wellness center, the health and wellness center provides people-centered holistic health care that is very sensitive to the healthcare needs of marginalized and vulnerable sections, reaches every section of community through a process of population empanelment. Like every section means we are looking for pregnant mothers, newborn babies, underprivileged children, adolescents, and the adulthood complications like above 30, the adults who are suffering from diabetes and hypertension, etc. Then the geriatric people. So all segment of the people, they are coming through this kind of services. Excuse me. So the health wellness center delivers high quality care addressing health risks and disease conditions through a commensurate diagnostics. Previously, there was no facilities in the sub-center of dispensing, mostly expanding the diagnostic tests and the protocols and IT system. IT setup, it was not there. But this medicine, disbursing the medicines and diagnostic tests that has been expanded in health and wellness center. So minimum the test and the medicine distribution, as per the protocol, the health will be discussing that they will distribute among the people, and the patient the first level of care, that is screening and diagnosis, all that will be done at the health wellness center, and the patient will be referred to higher centers. So then, the health wellness center uses a team-based approach in delivering quality health care encompassing preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative care. We'll be discussing on this promotive, preventive, curative care. What are they? Then the health wellness center ensures continuity of care with two-way referral system and follow-up support. As I said, when the patient goes from the household or family from the community to health wellness center, then health wellness center refers the cases which who will be treated with the specialty concern to the primary health center. Then primary health center refers to the CSC or DHS or SDH. And the patient when comes back to the community also, the health wellness center acts as a liaisoning agency to get the follow-up services for the individuals of that community. Then Health Wellness Center undertakes health promotion activities through school health education program and giving importance to the individual-centric approach, and promotes the public health action through active engagement and capacity building of community platforms and individual volunteers. So the community agencies who are in the community platforms like SHG and also the VHSNC, that is village health sanitation and nutrition committees. So the health wellness center the coordinates with them and take the public health actions whichever is required. Then it integrates yoga, Ayush services, etc. as appropriate to people's need for wellness activities that as the health promotional activities. So these are key elements of health wellness center. As I discussed, health wellness center will provide comprehensive primary health care. So these are scenario has been changed. There is infrastructure has been changed from the previous sub center with the facilities of IT, then yoga and counseling room, then diagnostic test room, everything is there. Then medicines and expanding diagnostics will be there. Expanded service delivery will be there. Expanding HR, because this previously the in charge was in the sub center ANM, but here in the health and wellness center is the MLSP is the in charge. Now we have renamed the MLSP as CHO, community health officer, who is have multi skills. I mean, identifying the disease, screening, then rendering care, then conducting physical examination, everything. So counseling, she can act as a counselor to the public. So, as a supervisor, as an administrator, so many things will be learning in the roles. So this the HR has been expanded at the health wellness center. There will be CHO as the in charge. Then the partnership for knowledge and implementation will be there. Then financing or provider payment reforms. There are some indicators which is assigned to the CHO, and those indicators will be achieved if the CHO achieves that, then gets the incentives that we will be discussing later on. Then community mobilization and health promotion activities, health and wellness center has to provide. Then the HWC has to see the continuum of care through telehealth and referral to the higher centers, and also support and follow-up services when the patient comes back to the community. Then the health wellness center is very active unit in providing the data required related to communicable disease, beneficiary groups, then non-communicable disease, everything. So at the just like SWC has been digitalized, so all the workers in the SWC, they just load, I mean, use the network and load the data, upload the data, whichever required Delhi, or some data they used to upload online by using net, and some data they used to upload through offline mode also. So they have all tablets. The frontline workers will be discussing who are they in the SWC, and also they use those tablets, and they have a special app for in the IT system. That means they're acquainted with the Anmol app that they use data, and immediately the government of India gets, health scenario of the whole country. So these are all expanded services of the health wellness center. Previously, care in pregnancy and childbirth, it was there, and neonatal infant healthcare services focus was there. What are the expanded services? The services has been expanded. We'll learn from this, and also childhood, adolescent healthcare services. Then family planning, contraceptive services, and other reproductive healthcare services. Then this is a new concept: screening, prevention, and control management of non-communicable disease for above 30 years age group. So yesterday we had learned there is a based assessment checklist is there. So as per the checklist, the healthcare providers, that means the frontline workers, they will go to the community and assess the above 30 years age group population for non-communicable disease. Then this elderly and palliative healthcare is expanded services. This concept is new. Then all 12 services, management of communicable disease, including national health programs, management of common communicable disease, and outpatient care for acute simple illnesses and minor ailments. So whatever the minor elements they get, they can treat it at the health wellness center. So for diseases which is complicated one, they have to refer to the higher centers. Then basic oral health care services, that is also included in this expanded range of services. So who is the in charge of SWC? As I see, or he is the MLHP, middle level health provider, that has been renamed as CHO. So community health officer. Community health officer have been appointed at SWC with a vision to improve the access to healthcare in rural and remotest areas for the marginalized and vulnerable families. So the concept of why it was, as I said earlier, to reduce the out-of-pocket expenditure being incurred in the private sector, and lack of utilizing the services and the government agencies. Then to increase the utilization of public health services at primary care level, and to reduce the fragmentation of care, so the continuum of care will be maintained, as I discussed. Then to reduce workload of secondary and tertiary care facilities. So for a minor, people will not rush to the district headquarters or CSC. They will be treated at the health wellness center. So the roles and responsibilities of the CHO. CHO roles have been broadly classified into three. One is clinical function, to provide ambulatory outpatient care and management. Then the public health function, that is public for health promotion and prevention and disease surveillance. Then managerial function for efficient functioning of the health wellness center. So in the clinical functions of SCHO, that is clinical functions for ambulatory care and management, CHO detects the patients who comes to the SWC, they are early detected and diagnosed. Screening is done, and first level management care is given to assess the general signs and symptoms, and the disease will be identified. Then they identify the and provide the first level management of care to all conditions with all 12 essential packages. If the patient comes with ENT and oral health care, everything will be included. Then they provide the follow-up care. That is they send the NCDs which can be treated at higher level. So they send the patient to higher centers for giving the follow-up services. So the children, newborns who are requiring SNCU and ICU, NICU care, they just send them. Then the chronic ill people who are having hypertension, diabetes, TB, leprosy, they also, with all the parameter assessing their parameters, they will be sent to the higher centers. Then individual patients requiring palliative care, also they will go for they will send for the follow-up care, and they need also continuous counseling. So then the next function is provide counseling support for the following cases like antenatal care, postnatal care, then prevention of reproductive tract infections, STIs, RTIs, then prevention of vector-borne diseases, then adoption of contraception, so many. So lifestyle modification counseling can be given on any topic or issues, health issues, which is having risk factors. I mean, risking the health of condition of the public. Even the psychosocial support will be given for mental health, and awareness stigma reduction activities will be carried out, and the myths which is deep rooted in the among the minds of the people, that can be also removed through continuous counseling and health education. Then they also facilitate teleconsultation. Teleconsultation can be done with the people who are having chronic diseases, and they need the follow-up care. So the teleconsultation will be done at a SWC with their concerned specialists. So these are the care aspects we have already discussed. Then second function is the public health function, that is for promoting the health and promotion and prevention and disease surveillance. So disease surveillance, they used to focus on that. The first is ensure population based data and planning for organizing services at SWC. So they include all the maintain the family folders, and the population enumeration will be there. All the beneficiaries will be uploaded in the HIMS, that is Health Management Information System. Then the community health officer will supervise both the ASA and ANMs, because in SWC there will be 2 ANMs, a male or female, or both female can be there. Then 4 ASAs will be there. So 5 ASAs will be there. So each ASA will be then the disease surveillance. IVASA, each ASA caters to the 1,000 population. So the disease surveillance CHO also takes part in disease surveillance, because when there is an outbreak or any diagnosis of disease condition or epidemic, the CHO has to notify to the higher PSCMO, and then C or he will assist to the NM and ASA to collect the data and everything. Then next is managerial function. So managerial function of to strengthen the health and wellness center, they have 3 functions, that is responsibility, that is recording, reporting and monitoring of service delivery. So the CHO supports MPWs, that is health worker female, in maintaining updated information for all sub-center level and maintain records on delivery of services at health wellness center. Then ensure accurate and timely completion updation of various health informations, submit monthly performance report. Then the CHO use the information to access service delivery improvements. Then some of the administrative functions undertake at HWC, that means list of articles, everything that will be maintained properly at HWC. then timely indenting to maintain adequate stocks, then proper utilization of health wellness center, that is on-tied fund which is given to the health wellness center. And then supportive supervision of his health wellness center team, conducting monthly health wellness center meetings, and then conducting visits to beneficiary households, monitoring the conduction of community village level meetings, and facilitate multi-sectoral convergence for action. Here the CHO in association with the SSG and BHSNC takes public health actions at the community level. So to whom the CHO coordinates? The CHO has to coordinate with everybody, that is block medical officer in charge, that is MO in charge of PSC record for recording, reporting, logistics, intending and administrative training support. For this, the MOPSC, she has to give the coordinate. Then CHO has to coordinate with BHSNC, Anganwadi workers, school teachers for health promotional activities under school health program and preventive activities for the community. Then the CHO has to coordinate secondary care facilities for referral services to the specialist consultation for teleconsultation and all for management of high risk cases, non-communicable disease clinics, and management of cases of cataract, trauma, mental illnesses. Then CHO has to coordinate with the HSC staffs, that is ASA, MPWs, RBSK, then for his health prevention and promotion activities. Then CHO also has to coordinate with the PSC's MO, that is continuum of care for the continuum of care and supportive supervision, technical guidance, other staff to support in care coordination, logistic support for medicines and diagnostics. So this is what the organization of services to ensure continuum of care. See the continuum, how it is maintained from the family, household, community level. Health wellness center will refer the patient to fast referral level, and that is CHC. Then when coming health wellness center will do the follow-up service and support the public for follow-up services. So at the family community level, population empanelment will be there, filling up community-based assessment checklist, health promotion activities will be done. At the health wellness center level, clinical services for minor ailment will be there, then teleconsultation for the follow-up services, then counseling will be given on different health issues, and drug dispensation as per the protocol will be given. Then at fast referral level, mostly the cases, complicated cases can be referred for specialist consultation and diagnosis and management. So the delivery of service would be at 3 levels. So here is the again how the continuum of care is maintained at village and urban ward. The ASA and health worker female, they are supposed to give PBS outreach services, risk assessment awareness, generation and health education, follow-up and treatment compliance of confirmed cases. Then CHO will do the screening, referral, telehealth, drug dispensation, or referral to MO at PSC for confirmation or complication. Then at PSC level, diagnosis, prescription and treatment will be done. Then if the case is completed and complicated, need higher center care, tertiary level, secondary or tertiary level care, and the patient will be referred. Then telehealth consultation also will be there, and mentoring and monitoring will be there. Then at CSC, SGH and DHH, advanced diagnostic services will be provided, indoor facilities will be there, complication assessment will be there, and tertiary care or linkage will be given for higher centers. So, some of the health promotional activities is done by CHO. As we know, what is health promotion? Health promotion is the measures which enable the or empower the individual to control to gain control over his health on high risk behaviors and to enable him to improve his own health. So that is the main concept of health promotion. So the objective of health promotion is to empower the individual and communities to engage healthy behaviors, those who are not at risk people, then to motivate people to make behavioral and lifestyle changes, then to motivate behavioral change to prevent disease and complications from among already the people who are already diagnosed with a complicated diseases, then to finally reduce out of pocket expenditure by focusing on prevention and also enabling early diagnosis and treatment. So, this is, as we know, there are four levels of prevention. One is primordial prevention, and primary prevention, secondary prevention, tertiary prevention. All of us know what is primordial prevention. The preventive measures or measures which or activities which is taken for the people, usually for the healthy people who are not at risk. So we want to promote their health and maintain their well-being. So that is called primordial prevention level. Primary prevention level, that is the activities which is taken to the people who are at risk. That means a history of diabetes, family history of diabetes may be there, or having some high risk behavior, that is smoking and all. So for them, we'll give counseling and promote uh, counseling on health promotional activities like taking good nutrition and reducing the smoking habits, etc. That will give counseling to the public, and also we'll tell them to take specific protection like taking vaccines and all for the diseases the vaccines and all which is available for the concerned diseases. Then secondary prevention, as we know, secondary prevention is taken when the disease occurred. In primary prevention, we are focusing on at-risk people, but the disease has not occurred. But the secondary prevention level, we are giving focus on the preventive measures which is taken after the occurrence of the disease. So for them, what preventive measures we are taking? Suppose a patient is detected with a hypertension or diabetes, so you and give treatment so that the patient won't have complications. So that is the prevention we are doing, preventing the individuals to have the complications. So that is given in the secondary prevention level. And tertiary prevention level, as you know, we the patient when comes to the higher health, health and facilities, public health facilities, we are limiting the disabilities. Whatever the disability already the patient had, when the patient comes to us, then the disability will be limited. There will be no further infection. There will be no further health deviation. So that shows ki our quality of service we are rendering at tertiary level care. We are limiting the disability and also rehabilitating the people to earn the livelihood in the tertiary prevention level of care. Then there are what approaches the CHO takes for the health promotional activities. There is a talk approach. So you just remember the acronym, tell about healthy lifestyle to the people. A stands for advise how to improve. Then excuse me. Know more about health promotion measures. So what are other measures also to change the healthy lifestyle that the CHO has to learn, and in association with BHSNC and SSG, the CHO and the health worker female and the ASA, they will in coordination with each other, they will take up the activities in the community. Then there are two approaches to plan the strategies for health promotion. That is, one is life course approach and health status approach. In life course approach, we'll divide the beneficiary group of different stages of lifespan or in the different transitional phase of life. For the newborns and children, the focus will be different. For the adolescents, the focus will be different. For the adults more than 30 years, they are supposed to get the none for them also counseling and hygiene aspect, how to identify the risk, everything will be given in others. That their focus is for them, the focus is different, how to identify, register the pregnancy. Then they will the complications will be detected early. Then they will be encouraged to have the antenatal visits and watch for the warning signs, etc., etc. Then for the geriatric care, then geriatric group, that is another segment. So that is called life course approach. When we divided the group into different beneficiary group in the different stages of lifespan. Then health status approach. As per that, we are taking some promotional measures for healthy people. I mean, those who are not at all risk, to maintain their well-being status, and those who are at risk in the primary prevention. That means having some sort of history of unhealthy or risky behavior, that is smoking or any having the history of diabetes, hypertension, family history of diabetes and hypertension. So they need to be cautious and take some promotional activities, health promotional activities, so that they won't get diabetes, hypertension, even though it is a family history. So like that, for them, that is another group. Then the patients who are having some symptoms of disease, they are in the secondary prevention level, as I discussed. They are third group, and the fourth one is already those who are having chronic diseases. For them, we are taking measures. So these are all the health promotional measures we are taking as per the health status of the individuals. Then, who are the resources for the CHO to carry out these health promotional activities? Patient support group. For example, there are some HIV patients. They have the network groups. So those patient support group, the CHO has to identify and to coordinate with them for the betterment of the that category of people, or that category disease persons. Then ASA, then Anganwadi workers, then BHSNC, then monthly community level campaign will be done. Then multi-sectoral convergence. As I said, other health agencies who are working in the community, they have to be identified, and along with them, the health activities will be conducted. Then the village health, sanitation, and nutrition day also need to be observed. So these are the indicators for which the CHO gets the incentives. So the indicators for getting performance linked incentives. So what are the indicators? If it is achieved 100%, that means the health CHO will get 1,000 for each indicator. So what are those indicators? There are, I am not going to in details how to calculate and that, but only I'll highlight the opting. There are some many of your students here. If you are opting for the CHO, you will be learning all these indicators, how to achieve, and when you will get 75% of incentive payment, and when you will get, if you will achieve those incentives. So that is number of OPD cases in the month you have to calculate. Then proportion of estimated pregnancy registered, that you have to calculate and achieve. Then proportion of pregnant women registered who received ANC. Then proportion of who received immunization. Proportion of newborns who received HbA1c visits. Proportion of above 30 years individuals screened for hypertension. Then proportion of above 30 years individuals screened for diabetes. Proportion of above 30 years individuals screened for oral cancers. Then proportion of patient of HTN on treatment. Then proportion of patient of DM on treatment, proportion of cases referred for TB screening, then notified TB patients who received treatment as per protocols, BHND held against plant, that is how you will calculate. Then village meetings, number of village meetings held in that month, that also you have to calculate, give report. Then monthly meetings held at SWC. Okay, so that has to be reviewed. So who are there in the healthcare team at the Health Wellness Center and PSC? So there will be middle level health provider or CHO. She must be a BS nursing or GNM or Ayurvedic practitioner trained in 6 month certificate program in community health or community health officer. So that is BSc Community Health Nursing. So BSc GNM, now the government is interested to recruit BSc nursing students and GNMs in the CHO post because earlier why the 6 months course was introduced when the government of India reviewed this syllabus, they observed the certain as the government desires. So the INC along with the INC, it was decided one certificate course will be introduced to meet that, deficiencies. So that was introduced first under IGNOU. That we will be discussing. And this later on, INC integrated those concepts into the syllabus. So the MLHP course or concept has been introduced, the role and responsibility of CHO, and the concepts which is required for covering the non-communicable disease and other expanded services of HWC, that has been included already in the syllabus since last 1 and 2 years. So these students who are coming with the integration of MLHP, they can be directly posted as CHO. They don't need this certificate course again. So there will be 2 MPW female as per the HWC, and there will be MPW male 1 to be provided from state's resource. Then 5 ASAs will be there for the outreach services. Then health and wellness center in PSC, as you know, the PSC is comprising of 30,000 population. PSC, there will be MOPSC and staff nurses. There will one staff nurse, pharmacist 1 will be there, 1 lab technician, and LHP will be there, then ANM, and plus ASAs will be there. The services is provided at PSC level, screening of NCDs and wellness room and other diagnostics things will be given. Then CPSC, these are all 12 comprehensive primary health care services. As we discussed, we learned what are those 12 expanded services at HWC is available. So again, I am repeating: care in pregnancy and childbirth, neonatal and infant healthcare services, childhood and adolescent healthcare services, family planning, contraceptive services, and other reproductive healthcare services, management of communicable disease, that is national health programs, general outpatient care and acute simple illness of minor elements, then screening, then prevention of non-communicable disease, care of ophthalmic and ENT problems, basic oral health care, elderly and palliative health care services, emergency medical services including burns and trauma, and screening basic mental health elements. So this is the infrastructure of HWC, the branding and color code which is given by the Government of India. There must be a citizen chart, and there must be space for examination room. Privacy will be maintained, and telehealth consultation must be there. Diagnostic and medicine dispensation must be there. Then wellness room should be there. Waiting area should be well ventilated. IC information, education, communication activities. All signages well designed and should be pasted in all the area where the people can't go face any problem. Then labor room at delivery points. Some SWC where the delivery point is there, labor room should be well equipped. Then 3-pole alternate prototype designs will be provided. Display boards for who are the team members who are working in the duty, who are in the duty, that has to be displayed. And this is comes under the jurisdiction of Gram Panchayat and urban local bodies. So quality of care at SWC, that is provision of patient-centered care, enable patient amenities at SWC, adhere to standard treatment guideline and clinical protocols for care provision, achieve Indian public health standards with regards to HR infrastructure, equipment, service delivery and supplies. Then national quality assurance standards for SWC will be developed, patient satisfaction to be captured through IT systems. So as I was talking about BPCHN, that is Bridge Program for Community Health Nursing, that was introduced, a certificate course was introduced under IGNOU. The students were experiencing 7 days of learning counseling session, and the rest of the self-study hours they are maintaining and appearing the exam at the end of 6 months. The government of Odisha has decided to introduce this CPSCH, that is Certificate Program for Community Health, to concising this BPCHN course, this certificate course, to get more number of CHO in certain period. So the CPCH which is introduced in Odisha, I am just overviewing the course structure for the knowledge of the students. The program cycle will be for 4 months. So previously it was in BPCHN 6 months. So the any nursing officers in the system, those who are not with the integrated ML course, they can undergo this 6 months course. And the eligible candidates are regular nursing professionals with GNM or BS nursing or post basic nursing. So those who are appearing the OSSC also, now from from them they can opt for this CHO. Duration program will be 4 months, and the candidate will get maximum 5 attempts to complete the course. Medium of instruction will be English. Number of seats will be maximum 60 seats. So all the training institutes, government training institutes of Odisha has been identified as the study center for this CPSCH course. So the training site is all government-owned training institutions, and examining body is the ONMAB. So nodal officer has been decided for the CPCH program, that is ADPHO Family Welfare. Then overall she will be he will be the overall in charge of the course in the district. Then manager is the DMRCH, who will coordinate the principal, senior faculty in smooth running of the program in the district. Then principal of the institute will be the PIC, program in charge of the course. So there will be pool of 10 to 15 faculty in the each institution as academic counselor and field instructor, and also the clinicians or healthcare providers in the field will be empaneled as the field instructor in the by the program study center. Then the PIC is also responsible for detailed planning of day-to-day academic activities, conducting theory and practical classes. So academic counselor can be from different specialty with 5 years experience. Then they can able to take theory classes and supervise the clinical area. They will extend hand-hold support to the students in learning clinical skills. So the most important is in the CPCH program, we are strengthening the skills of the students who have already covered this BSc and BS nursing, qualified the BS nursing and GNM course. Then to extend help and orient the students at skill lab to attain competency. So here in the CPCH program, we will not only look for the clinical skills, community skills, and we'll also give focus on counseling skills, how they are gaining, and also the leadership quality. I mean, giving them situation will just assess their leadership quality, how they are dealing with the public. So that is very important. We are strengthening those qualities because they have to deal with the community in the community. Those skills they will employ. Then field instructor will be medical officer in charge of the CSC, UPSC, and PSC, and also PSC. Then staff nurse in charge in CSC, PSC will be the field instructor. Then CHOs, ANMs in sub health center. Already though in health wellness center, but the CHOs are posted. They also share their experience, and they will be teaching their the skills which is required at the field level. So one instructor to be identified at every facility to give with the responsibility to mentor the students during their field posting. So a nursing faculty has to accompany the students. Then the trainers, the teacher and counselor to student ratio should be 1:60 for theory and not more than 1:30 ratio for practical. So 2 teachers will accompany, or either one teacher or the one field instructor will be adjusted to that. For theory and practical, there should be at least 2 counselors from each specialty. The panel of trainers, the states to create a panel of trainers attached to the DH. The state has taken up this CPCS program, how it will be implemented very smoothly and effectively. The state can be commissioned from other nearby, the trainers can be commissioned from other nearby institutions from a pool of external experts. So how the admission process will be, there will be selection of candidates from state government as the students are now appearing the OSSC. Then there will be document verification and joining as staff nurse at CDM and PHO level. Then joining at respective program study center. They will be sent to the program study center. Then documents verification, submission and filling admission form at program sub center will be done. Submission of admission forms to ONMAB, because ONMAB is the last examining body. Then program structure through an ONMAB, there will be the course will be for 4 months. Number of centers now has been identified, 26, and the strength for batch is 60. There will be theory for 78 days. I'm not going to go for details. One session of theory class will be 1 hour 30 minutes. So 3 sessions will be conducted per day. The students will use close to 4 hours per day for self-study, and they'll be sent to the library and given assignment on that. So practical one session is 3 hours. The student will be engaged for 6 hours per day when the practical will be proposed. Then additional sessions like 10 days they will get for preparation for additional classes and assignment completion. And the theory and practical examination will be held for 5 days. There will be 2 theory paper, 2 separate theory paper, and that is 1 and 2 module. Then practical will be conducted for 20 CHO trainees in per day. That means 3 days is required to complete all 60 students. Then evaluation, compilation and result declaration will be within 14 days. So that will be done by ONMAB. So the course code is BNS, that is theory. 41, 42, both the modules are theory. So there are a number of blocks in each module, that is 5 blocks in 41, 6 blocks in 42. 41 comprises foundation of community health. Then 42 comprises or highlights on primary health care in common conditions. So the units are specified, and the practical one is module 43. That is third module, that is 43, BNSL. So public health and primary health care skills are focused in that, and there will be 6 blocks. So theory module 1, as I said, the content in module 1, it is covered epidemiology, national health programs related to communicable and non-communicable disease, nutrition and topics related to communication, supervision and reporting. Module 2, includes RMNCH services, common medical surgical condition, and emergency at community and essential drugs. Module 3, that is practical, includes all skills at the clinical sites. The students will learn in DHH, CSC, PSC, UPSC, and SC, that is Health Wellness Center. And candidates are expected to become competent in the topics covered in all theory classes, including general and laboratory skills and skills related to RMNCH to cover all the procedure in the logbook. Logbook procedure has been designed in such a way enlisting the skills one candidate has learn under each activity. So this is an example of logbook, how the activities and the skill name has been mentioned. Like for biomedical waste management, one skill you have to know what is the donning and doping you will do properly. So then cleaning methods of blood spills and body fluids. So these activities you have to learn, or these skills you have to learn in different agencies, public health agencies assigned. Then level up facilities, 50 days they have to do the they have to send, they have been sent for clinical posting. So areas in the clinical posting, it will be covered uncommunicable disease, non-communicable disease, mental health, dental care, geriatric care, IENT, then common condition of emergency, care in pregnancy, neonatal and infant health, child health, adolescent health, reproductive health, contraceptive services, then record of vital events and reporting, village health and nutrition day, during house visits, then during meetings and events in the community, how it is going on and how the CHO is counseling, everything they will observe, they will learn the skill. Then outreach services and at facility. Then attendance is required for these students, 75 in theory for being eligible to appear the theory examination, and 100% is required to for the final practical examination. So 100% in practical session is required to be eligible for appearing the practical examination. The scheme examination theory, there will be two level of marks, two types of assessment. External assessment, that is 80 marks for 80 marks. Internal assessment is for 20 marks. Then there will be average of 3 unit test in the internal assessment, and in external assessment, which comprises of 80 marks, there will be 2 separate theory papers, 1 mark for each every right answer, no negative marking will be there, and that will be the external assessment will be done in MCQ pattern using OMR sheet. And then scheme of examination practical. Practical in that the external assessment will be of 60 marks, internal assessment will be 40 marks. So the students will be evaluated in the class through in the clinical area for all the skills through OSCE, and the logbook they have to maintain properly. So that will be assessed. Then external assessment again, case evaluation in the ward, then OSCE and spotting will be the skill will be assessed through OSCE and spotting will be given. Then Viva comprises also 20 marks. So in one day, 20 students will undergo practical examination. So all candidates should obtain at least 50% to pass the final practical examination. So the key message for this topic, SWC will provide CPSC 24/7. Then CHO has to perform clinical and public health managerial functions, and to get incentives, CHO has to achieve the targets as per the indicators. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your simple and beautiful presentation. By this time, I hope all of you must have filled up the post-test form.